Well, good Thursday morning, Southeast Texas. We're starting off, of course, on a warm note, being the time of the year in August. Certainly a warm day expected. We're expecting highs to be in the lower to mid 90s. Pretty hot coming up this afternoon. It's our Roofing 911 Skycam network over in Lake Charles. Just a few cumulus clouds there. Not a lot of build up to those clouds, but I think later today we'll have a few widely scattered thunderstorms develop across the area, especially from Interstate 10 south as a weak sea breeze works in off the coast. Up in the lakes area, you'll have a less chance. This is our Roofing 911 Skycam network up in Jasper, sponsored by Provalis. Mild to warm start this morning too, with temperatures in the upper 80s, close to 90 already up in the lakes area. You'll have a less chance of rain up there later today due to some drier air compared to what we have in the triangle. We certainly right now don't have a ton of moisture even here in the triangle, but it'll increase a little bit as the day goes on, and with a weak sea breeze developing and a weak upper level disturbance coming in from the northeast, we'll give it a 20 to 30% coverage coming up late today toward this evening. Also over in Orange, our Roofing 911 Skycam network there, sponsored by the Horseman's Western Store. Partly cloudy skies as well, a few high clouds kind of mixed in as well with some of those cumulus clouds. Had a few high clouds, and this morning, of course, most of the showers and thunderstorms have been well offshore to our south in the Gulf of Mexico, and that's where they will be tomorrow morning as well, off the coast to our south. But as the afternoon progresses, we'll see showers and thunderstorms developing. They'll be widely scattered, 20-30% coverage coming up again late today. And also here in Beaumont, sponsored by Packard & Prey, our Roofing 911 Skycam network here in Beaumont, showing partly cloudy skies across the area this morning. Of course, radar is pretty quiet, but we will see a few showers and storms, as we said, developing across Southeast Texas later today. Of course, this morning we started off in the lower to mid 70s, especially up in the lakes areas, but we've had some comfortable mornings the last few mornings, especially in the lakes, as we've seen some drier air. But of course, that moisture beginning to return to the triangle. Of course, been a little bit drier up in the lakes area. That's the reason you've seen the cooler lows up there over the several mornings. And outside our 12 studios, our Roofing 911 Skycam network, sponsored by Mid-County Plumbing. Just a few cumulus clouds out there this morning, not producing any rainfall. We'll have a chance, though, coming up later on today. It's been pretty quiet overnight. Speaking of nights, over the next few nights, it should be fairly quiet as well. The scattered showers and thunderstorms we're expecting over the course of the next several days will be mainly afternoon heating type, generated with a sea breeze and weak disturbances coming in from the northeast. But the overnight periods, we should be in pretty good shape overnight. And of course, there's Lake Charles. We showed you that earlier. Your allergy report, not too bad at all. In fact, the tree looking good, the grass looking good, the weed, man, not bad. It's in the low category. The mold in the moderate category, medium category as well. Probably not changing too much over the course of the next few days. 86 in Orange, 88 Silsbee, already 90 in Kirbyville, Jasper, and Woodville. Already 91 degrees over at Houston Intercontinental. So a warm start to the morning, normal for this time of the year as we approach the middle part of August. And of course, the days where temperatures are actually below normal in the summertime is the days we have the good coverages of showers and thunderstorms to keep us cool. But that's certainly not the case today. And speaking of radar, pretty quiet over land. I have one shower just to the west of Galveston Bay there, very small couple near the ferry landing down there. That's along the developing weak sea breeze. Most of the showers well offshore in the Gulf. But that sea breeze will develop throughout the course of the day and slowly advance inland. Probably won't get very far because remember, we have north winds above the surface. That really keeps the showers and storms from moving very far to the north. But we'll have some showers developing later this afternoon. Plus, there's a weak upper level disturbance going to be coming in from the northeast as well. And across the state, as we showed you during our 11 o'clock show, not many clouds across the state. Of course, we have the cumulus clouds here in southeast Texas. There are some mid-level clouds in eastern New Mexico and the Texas Panhandle there, but otherwise dry, high pressure in control of the nation's weather. That same front still stalled out over the northern Gulf. It kind of sags to the south each night because we get what we call the land breeze develop in the afternoon. As the land heats up, compared to the cooler water, compared to the heat of the land, you get the sea breeze. So it's the opposite at night. A land breeze develops. The land cools off, the water's warmer in the land. That land breeze develops and sags to the south. But this front will be washing out, though, over the course of the next few days anyway. It's certainly not really a factor anyway. Across the nation, plan on doing any traveling or anything the next few days. Actually looks pretty good. Much of the southeast is quiet. Of course, you'll have your typical afternoon thunderstorms from Florida to the Texas coast, which is normal for the summertime. Pretty big cluster of storms there, though, northwest of St. Louis. Some pretty heavy thunderstorms there this morning. Pretty quiet out over the west, and a little trough digging down into the Pacific Northwest. And of course, some shower and thunderstorm activity out over portions of the Atlantic. Just a slight chance that that may develop into something tropical before heading out into the northern Atlantic. All right, let's take a look in the mid-levels now. Of course, by this evening, the area of green you see here is a little bit of moisture, a little bit better moisture coming in this evening. Not much, but enough. The areas in red you see here are upper level disturbances. Very weak wind coming down in that northerly flow. So that with a sea breeze will give us a chance of a few thunderstorms late today. Or if high pressure centered over New Mexico and Arizona, ridging on off to the east. So we're still kind of battling that high pressure ridge again today as well. But it'll be slowly weakening over the next few days. And there's 7 o'clock this evening. There's that little disturbance in the upper atmosphere coming in from the northeast. That combined with just enough moisture will give us that 20 to 30% coverage of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. A repeat for tomorrow, about 30% late in the day. Now this is Saturday. Notice the high pressure ridge beginning to weaken a little bit, starting to back off to the west. So that'll allow another little disturbance to come in from the northeast on Saturday. That combined with a trough in the upper atmosphere out in the Gulf and a little bit of moisture. So it's like 30% or so. Looks like a pretty good coverage expected over the next few days. Pretty good number anyway, around 30%. Not much change into Sunday. Notice the high weakens even more. There's that weak, and this is a weak upper level trough coming in from the east, very weak. The deepest moisture, though, remember, we talked about this yesterday, from eastern Louisiana on over into Florida. So as this trough, or weakness we call it, moves in from Louisiana, no washout expected Saturday, but once again, that'll be just enough to keep that 30% coverage, showers and thunderstorms going on both Saturday and Sunday. Then as we head into Monday of next week, a little bit better moisture, that trough weakening that moves in from Louisiana on Sunday. So still some scattered storms even early next week at 30, maybe 40% by Monday or Tuesday. Notice the moisture does begin to increase by the middle part of next week. The moisture levels rising, coming in from the southeast, a couple little disturbances here and there. So maybe a chance of storms basically each day across southeast Texas and southwestern Louisiana. Notice high pressure is really weakened now off to our west, and another weak high off to our east across portions of the eastern Gulf of Mexico. All right, let's take a look at Futurecast. I think it's doing a pretty good job. Of course, as we heat up in the afternoon, that weak sea breeze will develop. We'll put this into motion. And notice the sea breeze drifting north, kind of combining. This is at 3:30 this afternoon. Upper level disturbance from the northeast. You see a few widely scattered storms popping here and there. They'll be drifting slowly to the southwest. It wouldn't shock me to see a 30% coverage in the triangle late today, especially as we head towards 6, 7 o'clock. But of course, overnight, you know, things looking pretty quiet. So it'll be a quiet night coming up with temperatures dropping on down once again into the middle to upper 70s for lows and some lower to mid 70s up in the lakes area. Tomorrow, I'll be a repeat of today. Moisture levels about the same, a little less upper level energy, but rain coverages 20 to 30% again for your Friday, popping up there in the afternoon. And yep, a sea breeze late in the day tomorrow, so 30% doesn't look bad for us, a rain coverage for late Friday as well. And that, as we showed you a while ago, pretty much the same thing will be happening over the weekend. Just some scattered hit and miss afternoon showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, with temperatures once again in the lower to mid 90s across the area. All right, tropics, let's talk about that. Nothing to talk about in the Gulf. Hey, that's great news there. Of course, the system we showed you earlier off the Carolinas. That's dropped to just a 30% chance to develop, but it doesn't matter. That's moving out to sea anyway. Of course, Dexter's way out to sea. He's way up there. And of course, we have a system that still has a pretty good chance over the next week at 60% to develop almost halfway between Africa and the Caribbean Sea. A little cluster of showers and storms here, pretty disorganized right now, but as it works west-northwest, the upper level winds should improve and develop, but that will stay out to sea as well. There's a wave behind it. We'll be watching this one. This has just emerged off Africa in the last 24 hours, some cluster of storms there, and there's another wave behind that coming off of Africa. Those we'll watch because those will work a little more westerly, it looks like, as we head in the course of the next week to week and a half. But in the meantime, we're in pretty good shape. Nothing expected in the Gulf for at least the next 7 to 8 days. So that's good news there. And hopefully those coming off Africa will stay away from the Gulf as well. But those two will have to be watched. Your marine forecast, south winds up to about 5 knots, so certainly not much wind over the next few days, that's for sure. Seas only around a foot. Next high tide at 4:44 in the morning, then again tomorrow afternoon at 12:27. And of course, we have sunrise at 6:40 and set at 8:04. Well, the days are getting shorter. I'm sure you've noticed that a little bit. Each afternoon we get into the evening hours, our days are getting shorter by a minute or so each day. All right, the rest of the afternoon, a hot, humid one, low to mid 90s for highs. It'll be hot. Rain coverage 20% lakes, 20% for inland southeast Texas. That's Votal, Koontz, Sour Lake, Lumberton, Silsbee, Buna, Deweyville. That's inland southeast Texas, 20% there late today. The Triangle will give it a 30% coverage later this afternoon. Very light winds out of the south. Now tonight, looking pretty good, mostly clear again. Don't expect much in the way of cloud cover overnight. Certainly no rain expected. Winds pretty much calm and becoming calm in the Triangle. That's one thing I've noticed over the last week or so with that pressure gradient being pretty flat. We've had very little, if any, wind across southeast Texas. Still pretty comfortable in the lakes tonight, low 70s, mid 70s or so here in the Triangle, 75, 76 as we head into tomorrow morning. So not too bad of a start. 7-day forecast, as we talked about yesterday, low 90s are normal for this time of the year for highs, so are the 70s. And that rain coverage at 30% each day, that is a normal rain coverage for southeast Texas during the summer. And I just don't see much change in that. 20 to 30% late today, 30% tomorrow, certainly 30% over the weekend. Remember, we have that weak inverted trough coming in from the east, so it'll definitely be 30% there and on into next week as well. There could be a day or two in here where there's a 40, maybe 50% coverage, especially toward next Tuesday and Wednesday as the moisture levels deepen a little bit. Highs will be in the lower 90s, lows at night in the mid 70s. So heading out each afternoon, just have the umbrella with you because there's a chance of a late day thunderstorm is there, and that'll continue not only for tomorrow but into the weekend all the way into next week as well. And we'll check the phone lines and see if we've had any messages this morning. Let's see. No messages as of yet. We had a couple, I believe, late yesterday, but you can text us at 409-749-9302 if you have a weather question, anything you want to ask us about the weather or temperatures coming up over the next week or two, tropics, and we will certainly get back with you. Once again, that